I got down on my luck again. I sold my truck to a former friend. I said I guess I wasn't meant to live this kind of life. But pumping diesel ain't for me. I ought to be in the driver's seat with my thermos jug of hot coffee. Talk shows on the radio at night. I let myself get bolted down with debts and deals I thought I'd found. I had to take a job uptown that I can't afford to leave. From my house I can hear all them big rigs shifting gear. Sit here with my chips and beer, thinking everything I've done has turned to grief. Big rigs rolling out my window, big rigs tearing through the night. My soul goes floating out down the interstate, joining in a big parade of lights. I go driving in my sleep, gearing down the high grade steep. The curves are tight, I watch my speed. I wake up in my bed, the sweat upon my face is cold. In my dream I lost control. In my life I've had to hold this driving dream down firmly in my head. I bet I was born to drive. The times I felt the most alive was in the cabs, big semis, tearing down the road. Let me die behind the wheel, all in 20 tons of steel, from Pittsburgh to the oil fields, rolled over, jackknifed in the snow. Rolling out my window, big rigs tearing through the night. My soul goes floating out
Anyone who's tried going cross-country through the southeast underbrush and comes across an open clearing like this might think they're in a park. Actually, this site is the location of one of the most important historical events to take place in Southeast Alaska history. And because of that event, this is a park today. Hello, I'm Scott Foster. Welcome to Rain Country. Nearly 200 years ago, local residents cleared this site, and today it's a national historical park located in Sitka.
This park commemorates the battle of resistance to the coming of the white man, and that was, in this case, the Russian-American Company.
The Russian-American Company, under Alexander Baranov, moved into southeast Alaska to expand their fur trade. They built a fort near Sitka in the early 1800s, but Quixotic Tlingits in the area attacked and forced the Russians out. Baranov returned in 1804 with a force of more than 1,000 men. When negotiations with the Tlingits failed, the Russians bombarded and then attacked the Tlingit fort.
As if by signal, Catlin leaped to the attack. His appearance amid the invaders, wildly shrieking the cry of the raven and swinging his hammer with painful accuracy, forced the Russians to retreat to their vessels. Several days of inconclusive bombardments and parleys followed.
One evening, the Tlingits, who apparently ran out of ammunition, simply withdrew from the fort. The white man, in the form of the Russian fur traders, had their foothold in southeast Alaska. Today, the location of the battlefield and the Tlingit fort is part of the Sitka National Historical Park.
The historians with whom I've worked have told me that had the outcome been different, instead of Alaska being part of the Russian territory and eventually being, quote, sold to the United States, it might well have been claimed by the Hudson's Bay Company for Canada, and so this part of, at least this part of Southeast, at least, might have well been part of Canada instead of Alaska.
Whether British, American, or Russian, the presence and influence of nationals from these and other countries forever changed the lives of the original residents.
With the devastation of diseases taking place, disruption in trade, the new form of government, the native people had to concentrate on surviving in a new culture, a new language, a new belief, a new trade. And so the old custom was laid aside and even forbidden in cases.
That meant the production and understanding of native cultural arts significantly declined for nearly 3/4 of a century. To help revive some of the arts, the Southeast Alaska Indian Cultural Center, under the sponsorship of the Alaska Native Brotherhood, was included as part of the new Park Visitor Center in 1965.
A&B locally came up to talk with the management here about operating this program where it would be Southeast people. It would be a continuation of the cultural arts. It would be storytelling. It would be those things that would bring continuity to the old story of the park.
I think that culture is on the verge of going out of existence. So what we do know, we would like to have people know about us, how we lived, what we did, how we survived, and what our art form is now. This, what they call today the art of the Northwest Coast, it was a utilitarian in the past. It was whatever they made, used, their hooks, their spoons, their clan crests were carved on it. So the culture which is being revived somewhat, but a lot of it is gone.
Louis Menard and other artists at the Cultural Center keep the earlier art traditions alive with their hands. They also serve as teachers and talk about their art and culture with park visitors.
Gosh, I don't know how many are new back there. I'm working on a ceremonial robe. It's a style that was done about 200 years ago. It's traditional Tlingit weaving. It's done very much like basketry. The poster is one that was done by Tikhonov, an artist who documented a lot of the visits early on, and that was a depiction of Katlian. And the robe that he's wearing was of this same style, Northern Geometric or Raven's Tail. It gives you kind of an idea. We're not following the exact pattern. Ours tells a newer story, but it's of the same style.
Without the cultural center, this would be simply a place of the past, exhibits of artifacts from a time before, pictures of times before. But with the cultural center, we as visitors can appreciate the fact that the culture has gone on and has evolved and changed, and so it brings to life the Tlingit culture in particular.
In addition to the Cultural Center, visitors may view a slide program that explains the background and events of the Battle of Sitka. And there are other displays in the Park Service Visitor Center.
In the exhibit room itself, we have, again, many artifacts that are on loan to us. Some of the Chilkat blankets, for example, the rattles and things. We also have some things that are part of our permanent collection here at the park that help to add some dimension to the Tlingit culture. And of course, this is all set against a backdrop of enlarged photographs, many of them mural prints of people right here in Sitka.
Outside the visitor center is a popular local trail curving along the shore, through the woods, and beneath a series of totem poles that seem to grow with the trees.
Governor Brady collected these about the turn of the century from villages in southeast, not from Sitka, probably from places like Prince of Wales Island. He was gathering them together for the St. Louis World's Fair. Over the years, of course, the original poles have deteriorated and have been reproduced in the 1930s and other efforts in the 1970s and 80s. So the poles today that stand along the trail are reproductions of the ones that Brady collected.
Those using the trail today walk historic ground. Near the trail's turnaround point, Quixotic Tlingits and Russians fought the Battle of Sitka in 1804.
If you were to walk out there today, you would see the setting, if you will. The cruise ships often anchor right about where I suspect the Russians were anchored, off the mouth of the Indian River. The landscape is a little different. The vegetation is grown up. Today you can see a clearing that more or less outlines the size of the fort. It was a very impressive stockade, I think, from what we've heard in the accounts, and certainly may have housed perhaps as many as 750 people.
This part of the Tlingit country is more of a memorial to the people who we call the Quixotes. They were the ones that had their confrontation with the Russians. They were the ones that fought them twice. They used to make a ritual of it to visit at least the park, a memorial, like a Memorial Day, to visit the battle site, to remember those that had fallen in battle when the Russians brought the Aleuts. And to these people, it's sort of a sacred ground.
A visit to the national park gives you a little nourishment in your history of who you are as an American and the treasures of America. That's the treasure, I think. It's the heritage. I think we're keepers of heritage in the national park.
When you're shop for new appliances, you need freedom of choice. Western Automarine gives you that freedom with the largest selection of name brands in Southeast. Top-of-the-line brands like Maytag, Amana, KitchenAid, Whirlpool, Gibson, and more. At Western Automarine, customer service is our #1 priority. We know appliances and can help you make an informed choice and deliver it free anywhere on the Juneau road system. We accept all major credit cards, including Sears, and we offer 6-month famous cash financing. With all this freedom of choice, it's no wonder people keep coming back to Western Automarine in Grants Plaza.
Milton, wake up! Pepsi's changed their slogan to gotta have it!
Gotta have it.
Subconsciously, gotta have it is something we've felt all along, but have never been able to properly express.
This is the new dawn!
I was gonna say that.
This is the kind of movement that can not only change a local government, can change a world.
If people gotta have it, I guess they must want it.
Pepsi is to our society what water was to early civilization.
Gotta have it. Pick up Pepsi and Diet Pepsi today at your local Fred Meyer store.
Hi, I'm Amber Beadle and I belong to Swampy Acres 4-H Club and Juneau Horsemen United. And yes, there are horses in Juneau. If you'd like to see them in action, come to 10400 Glacier Highway to the Swampy Acres 4-H Club Horse Show. It'll be held 9 a.m. May 9th and 10th. And if you need more information, call 789-7253. Thank you.
Alaska's power is in its nature. At AEL&P, we harness that power, monitoring to make it as reliable as possible. But sometimes weather, wind, and wayward animals interrupt that power, causing brownouts that could damage the sensitive electronics in your home, like your TV. So before you turn on the power, plug in a surge protector. Let's work together to make the power of Alaska better.
Make the right choice!
AEL&P.
These computers seem to be everywhere these days, on the desks of newspaper writers and reporters and editors, in private homes, and in offices all over. Some of us have a hard time making these computers do even the simplest things, like write a letter. We've got to learn the difference between a byte and a bit and boot. We've got to learn to remember whether the control key helps you escape or whether it's the escape key that helps you gain control. But of course, not everybody has to wage battle against computers, because many people can claim victory working with computers. That's certainly the case for people in the office of one agency in Ketchikan who are working with computers to help manage one of Southeast's most abundant resources. Covering about 17 million acres, the Tongass is the largest national forest in the country. It's the home for a variety of wildlife, including bear, deer, and eagles. Streams throughout the forest are used by salmon for spawning. When an area of the forest is being considered for harvest, the Forest Service assesses the environmental impact that cutting will have. With the assistance of the computer, more information is available for these land management decisions.
Geographic information system, it's a computer system that's a marriage between two types of computer systems that have been around for quite a while. One is a computerized mapping system. It draws maps and stores maps. Another system is a database, and that stores large volumes of information, files and tables of information. This system combines both of those types of system into one, called a Geographic Information System, a GIS. It opens up new types of analytical things we can do that we could not do before. For example, you can query the computer given a set of attributes about a piece of land, such as what type of wildlife habitat you're interested in and what type of timber stands. You can ask the computer to draw you a map showing the locations of those. Or vice versa, you can point to locations and ask the computer what the attributes of those locations are. So it's very easy to crosswalk between the two different types of data in that way. Before, it was quite laborious. The only link between those two types of data was a human one.
Prior to the computer, obtaining the attributes of an area were made by overlaying a series of maps. For example, to find out how many acres of a harvest area are in a specific wildlife habitat area, the appropriate maps were obtained and a dot grid was used to calculate the area.
And you have to count the number of dots in the orange area, in the blue area, multiply times 2.5, and you come up with the acreage of that particular piece. This is 5,000 acres. The current plan we're dealing with is 650,000 acres. So you can imagine how much time that took somebody to do that. We're finding that to work up the data and process and put it into the computer takes about twice as long as our old way of gathering the data. But we can do the analytical processes, the counting of the dots and the drawing of nice maps in about a quarter of the time. And these are rough figures, but we look like for a particular project we save, in terms of manpower, save about half the time. And of course the database lasts for longer than one project.
One of the beauties of a GIS is that we can query the machine to show us all the potential timber harvest units that have good timber, that aren't in deer winter range, that won't impact goat populations, that aren't on near a sensitive stream bank, and that are on stable soils. And what this means is that we can design timber sales that have less impacts on wildlife and fish populations. We can easily modify the location of the timber harvest unit and run another scenario and see if we influence something else. By moving the harvest unit away from the deer area, we might influence salmon in another area. But easy, very flexible database once it's built.
I've asked the computer to call up information from the channel type map and display all of the anadromous waters in this specific area. The red are the possible logging units, and all the alternatives will be a combination of some of these put together. And as you can see, immediately I have a feel for which units I would like to see us harvest and which units I wouldn't. So right during first step and during alternative construction, I have that tool.
Using computers with maps can show what an area will look like after a proposed harvest. Information from a topographical map can be entered into the computer from a digitizing table and combined with the harvest boundaries to provide a perspective drawing of the site.
Well, once this data is then converted from the map into the computer, we can bring it up here and start playing with the information in the computer to produce these graphics. Now we'll use these terrain pictures of these terrains with the activity on them to get an idea of what the activity will look like from a boat on the water or from a road. And we may want to look at a different alternative, different type of harvest pattern. The idea is to minimize as much as possible the visual impacts of these activities, consistent with the level of importance of these different these viewing areas and these different landscapes.
Terrain of a particular harvest location is important in determining what type of yarding equipment is necessary to remove the fallen timber. A computer provides a model of the equipment's operation.
It can tell us for a particular terrain, particular yarding situation, what kind of equipment would be needed to yard this area. It shows you a cross-section of the ground. In this case, we might have a road located up at this point, and this would be the area that we want to log to that position on the road, and that would be a low point indicating a stream here. So we would need to suspend over the stream and the soil on the banks here. So we want to check and see if that is feasible to do that and do it economically and also provide the right amount of protection for the resources here in this particular area.
Planning a road to remove the logs from a harvest site is another area for computer assistance. Surveying information for a proposed forest-level road can be entered into the computer. Amounts of earth needed to be removed or filled in can be calculated, and drawings of the plans can be produced.
Okay, this line across here is basically what your ground is like, and this is what we call the template. And this is what your road will look like after it's constructed. And this shows how much cut area. And here's a little cut, here's a little bit of fill. And then this shows you basically what it'll look like when it's after it's built. Basically, they tell us when we're how economically we are designing the road. if they have too much cut or too much fill, it costs us more money. So basically, using this program, we can figure out the most economical way to design the road.
From building roads to evaluating the environmental impact of a certain harvest area, the computer is providing valuable assistance in developing the Forest Service's land management plan.
In terms of a summary of the benefits we think this will have for the Forest Service, not only is savings in time, increased accuracy in the way we can deal with data, better ability to draw maps to communicate with particular audiences, and it opens the door on a variety of new analytical processes we haven't been able to do before. The public is continually interested in more and better information from us as we determine how we're going to manage the Tongass National Forest.
Tune in nightly at 5:30 for Juneau Spotlight, local sports, Capital Chat, and other local programs right here on Juneau's local station for all your local Southeast Alaska programming, KTOO-TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, Juneau's own Thunder Mountain Big Band.
What a day this has been. What a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. There's a smile on my face for the whole human race. Why, it's almost like being in love. All the music of life seems to be like a bell that it's ringing for me. And from the way that I feel when that bell starts to peal, I could swear I was falling. I swear I was falling. It's almost like being in love.
Better watch your ass. Your ways of living, well, you got me. 10 million buildings where they cut the sky. You want more land, you bid it's high. Your ways of cities, well, you got me. Got the industrial blues killing me. Yeah, I got the industrial blues trying to make you see all our forests where they cut to the ground, spill the oil all around. Your ways for money, well, you got me. All that smokestacks where they burn your coal, the sky above takes its toll. Your ways for money, well, you got me. Yeah, I got the industrial blues killing me. Yeah, I got the industrial blues trying to make you see.
Okay, I'm gonna say it Tlingit. Hungry white man.
If there was more to the truth, would you dare want to know? Contradiction says I should not say so. Opening wounds and exposing that feud, our tradition I must bring forth and he approve. With the ways of life, it was blood for blood, kill or be killed, and care and love. But yet to speak at a line with tongues undisciplined brought a shame and a death, the ways of a tradition. Compassion imposed with ways of an emotion. Focus the clans to care for one another. First themselves, the prophet goes to potlatch, going broke to build your dignity. Trading and gathering, looking for that salmon and berry bush. With the woman as a cook, should be all good. In the homes by the woods, sitting by the fire with the sounds of the beach. People call this indigenous, semi-nomadic illiterates. Straight up savages, they never knew the native ways. The native lie that kept the peace and the harmony. But that's okay, we're still on the lands for these thousands of years. Still by the streams where we gathered every year. We still live a culture, traditions we hold dear. We still sing our songs for these thousands of years. We're still on the lands for these thousands of years. Still by the streams where we gathered every year. We still live a culture, traditions we hold dear. We still sing our songs for these thousands of years.
The Tlingit people believe there was little difference between us and animals, except for form.
There's a at the raven, blue that scouts the sky as I swoop in the boom. Thank the deer, that's all that's wrong. Again, the sun back from the raven. Dicky now high, how would it want? Nobody got worried about them. Taking a salmon, saying, not enough rice, not enough fish. It's unfortunate, but thank God we're blessed that we know who we are and where we come from. The southeast region, living on tradition all the daily.
I've seen a lot of changes and met enough faces. I completely understand our values that accept these new things. And only the chosen few have names in a place to become king. Insanity playing amongst my mind readily withers and dies. In a place so cold and empty, I think it wise enough to hide. Burn any fossil fuels left in order to survive. In the end, there's nothing to pretend. It all comes down to our traditions.
We're still on the lands for these thousands of years. Still by the streams where we gathered every year. We still live our culture, traditions we hold dear. We still sing our songs for these thousands of years. We're still on the lands for these thousands of years. Still by the streams where we gathered every year. We still live our culture, traditions we hold dear. We still sing our songs for these thousands of years.
This is what it interprets out to. A person will often say, I'm going to speak to you. And it's like a man walking up along the river with a gaff hook. He lets his gaff hook drift over a salmon swimming at the edge of the river. And when he hooks it, the salmon way over there becomes one with him. This is the way public speaking is. Even speech delivered at a distance becomes one with somebody else. Singida yu ye na page. Yid khotan khayu khatan ke hinya kena ko de khaya yatim kik du kik yatim hin wan khwal ke khat ayu du kik ya kat uslash aqawa 2 inch ayu kawa hay khat 2 inch nasti ye away yatim khayu khatangi ayu kawa hay yuqatan 2 inch nasti yewa.
Still by the streams where we gathered every year. We still live our culture, traditions we hold dear. We still sing our songs for these thousands of years. We're still on the lands for these thousands of years. Still by the streams where we gathered every year. We still live our culture, traditions we hold dear. We still sing our songs for these thousands of years.
I'm an alligator. I'm your mama, papa coming for you. I'm a space invader. I'll be a rock and roll bitch for you. Keep your mouth shut. You're squawking like a big monkey bird, and I'm busting up my brains for the words. Keep your electric eyes on me, baby. Put your ray gun to my head. Press your space face close to mine. Freak out in the moonage daydream. Don't fake it, baby. Let the real thing on me. The Church of Man Love is such a holy place to be. Make me, baby. Oh, make me know you really care. Make me jump into the air. Keep your electric eyes on me, baby. Put your ray gun to my head.
Let's get into breakfast and then on to the slopes. It's gonna be a golden day.
Oh, those golden grahams. Oh, those golden grahams. Graham cracker tasting cereal family breakfast treat.
Tastes like crisp honey graham crackers.
Oh, those golden grahams. Golden honey, just a touch with Graham's golden wheat.
Golden Grahams, part of a good breakfast for the whole family.
Try those golden grahams and have a golden day.
Some mornings there's a little monster in all of us.
Morning, Fred.
And until that first cup of coffee, we can all be pretty beastly.
Morning, Fred.
That's when your 7-Eleven store can be a lifesaver.
Good morning, Fred.
With a good cup of fresh brewed hot coffee to perk up your morning. 7-Eleven coffee brings out the best, not the beast in you.
Hey, Ralph.
It's the days of summer 2003 on Big Country Taku 105. Taku 105 and Sailor One team up to bring you a chance to win our summer prize package. The beamy 18-foot low roughneck series all-welded aluminum boat, a 50-horse Suzuki outboard, and the Easy Load trailer, all from your summer fun headquarters, Alaska Ship Chandlers. All you have to do is stop by one of our participating sponsors and drop your name in the sign-up box. The boat moves from sponsor to sponsor each week, so tune into Big Country Taku 105 at 1051 to stay up with each week's location. Drop by, sign up, then tune in and listen for your name to be called. Give us that confirming phone call back at 586-1051, and you'll be qualified for the grand prize drawing August 9th at Western Auto. It's the all-new version of the Days of Summer 03. Brought to you by Big Country Taku 105 and Sailor One, the Days of Summer.
$250 for this outfit? No way. We went to Alaska Dames and Gents and only paid $50. What deals? This outfit could have cost $270, but we got it for only $98. Just because we shop on a budget doesn't mean that my wife can't wear designer clothes. At Alaska Dames and Gents Consignment Shop, I can get new and nearly new outfits for me and my wife at a fraction of retail prices. That means we both win. We look great, and I save money. Alaska Dames and Gents in the Airport Shopping Center.
Unscathed by the claw and crush of civilization. A world untamed, wondrous, and free. This is Alaska. Winter temperatures skid to numbers so low they are barely comprehensible, and yet a few staunch pioneers call this place home. Rugged individualists, they not only accept the hardships of Alaska, they have sought them out. Their experience tantalizes the imagination and challenges the spirit. Theirs is the story of braving Alaska.
To better understand our world, ourselves, and our future, this program is made possible by the people of Chevron. Chevron, giving thought to television.
Additional funding for this program is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by the financial support of viewers like you.
Throughout the history of this planet, human beings have settled in groups for companionship, convenience, and safety. As pioneers swept westward across America, they settled nearly all the open spaces. But there is a place, even today, where human beings are rare. In Alaska, the population of the entire state is about the same as many cities elsewhere. And deep in the North Woods, beyond mountains and rivers that have no name, there is virtually no one. The largest of the United States, Alaska sprawls across 591,000 square miles. 99% of this immensity, untouched by pressure or progress, remains uninhabited and wild. But a sprinkling of people have chosen to move here and live off the land. Widely scattered and far from roads, stores, or medical care, they must rely almost solely on their own efforts to stay alive. A primary link with the outside is bush pilot Roger Dowding.
I've done many different types of flying, and this is what really keeps my interest. This is the most challenging for me, the most rewarding. I'm just in awe of all this beauty, of all this wonder out here. It's just miles and miles and miles. You can fly for hours and hours and hours and just never see any sign of any human being. And there's just no other place in the world you could go and do this. No place.
Now living more than 100 miles north of the Arctic Circle, Haimo Korth was fed up with city life. Even as a teenager, he yearned for a quieter, simpler existence.
I couldn't hack the city, the towns. I mean, walking on pavement hurts my feet. I mean, I could walk on rocks all day out here, but I couldn't walk on pavement. That's too much, you know. And I couldn't handle the masses of people, that many. I like people, but I don't like masses.
With their two small daughters, the Korths live almost entirely off the land. 19 when he arrived from Wisconsin, Haimo braved the bush alone for 6 years, then married Edna, an Alaskan Eskimo.
You make me not hear.
The family has never had a water bill, never owned a light bulb.
It's yours, Ken. It's here.
The Korths are among the most isolated human beings in all of North America. The bush plane represents mail, supplies, and their only human contact for most of the year. But these aircraft are not always safe or reliable. And almost daily, bush pilots are redefining the word runway, finding out just how small and how rough one can be.
How about west of here? Lots?
West of here. There was lots crossing on the upper Shinjek a week ago.
Usually the first question a bush pilot hears is about the movement of game. Haimo is looking for caribou.
Not big wads of them, but there's quite a few scattered out. But there's no big, I haven't seen any big groups.
It is early fall. In the weeks ahead, Jaimo must lay in a supply of caribou meat to see the family through the winter. Without hunting, humans could not survive here. This far north, poor soil and short summers make farming almost impossible. Close to home, Edna and the children gather what little they can. In summer, the tundra supports a few wild fruits, like blueberries and cranberries. Outdoors, Edna always wears a revolver. Bells help keep track of wandering children and may scare off wolves and bears. The courts get about 80% of their food from the land, but they must spend about $1,500 a year on supplies like ammunition, flour, salt, powdered milk. Jaimo and Edna, both licensed hunters, may each take 10 caribou a year.
I look at this as a food source. There's nothing else, just a food source. It's not a pleasure hunt. I mean, it's like going to the grocery store, but in a different way. And since the nearest grocery store is 200 miles away, this is your grocery. We'll use the skin for our bedding, and for our winter clothes we use the skin for socks and for parkas. And we eat almost everything from it. Anything that's left on the ground here, which is very little, the wolves will eat it up, or the ravens and the fox and the wolverine or grizzly bear might come around and eat it up. So nothing is wasted out here, nothing. I mean, this land, it's too rough of a country for an animal or a person to waste anything out here.
You have a good day?
Yeah.
Precious cargo, the meat must now be protected from marauding animals. Only the night before, a grizzly came within feet of the cabin and used a tree as a scratching post. A common type of storage is known as a cache, from the French word for hiding place. In summer, a hole dug in the permafrost acts as a natural refrigerator.
Now get on then, just like you do. Get on. Get on, real quick, get on.
Some settlers are loners, but for Jaimo, companionship is vital.
I think prolonged isolation out here, I did it 6 years by myself, and that is no good. No good for anybody. And right now, if something happened to Edna that I was alone again, I wouldn't live out here alone. That's too crazy, because you do become nuts. I mean, you can't help it. It just, when you start talking to yourself and everything like that.
And good evening. Today is Monday, July 30th. This is Deb Olson and Julie Arset reporting for Trapline Chatter.
Mail arrives by plane only 3 or 4 times a year. But every night, bush families devour outside news on Trapline Chatter. They cannot call out, only listen. But for this brief time, across broad stretches of desolate wilderness, human lives touch as if they were next-door neighbors.
We're all fine here. Richard will be leaving for Hawaii in a few days.
To Diane on the Chattanooga coming from Derek and North Pole. We're back from Valdez. Done good fishing. I'll be coming in tomorrow about noon. Love you very much, Derek.
As the air chills and the days shorten, there is a heightened urgency to prepare for winter. All life exalts in the pageant that is autumn. In the interior, 200 miles south of the courts, is another cabin home. Like most, it's located on a river for water, transport, and a ready supply of fish. With winter approaching, fish wheels operate non-stop. These clever contraptions may harvest several hundred pounds of salmon a day, which will be smoked or dried, and as temperatures drop, frozen. Errol Wilson moved to Alaska after a brush with the law. He straightened out his life, fell in love with the wilderness, and has never left. Rebecca Wilson's garden would not be possible further north, but here, fertile soil and warm summer months provide prime growing conditions.
My father loved nature, and I think he was the one that got me interested in the outdoors, and he used to take us backpacking up in the Sierras. And my mother, she's more of a town person. She likes to go to the theater and read, but my dad was the one that really got me into the outdoors.
The river is the Wilsons' link to the outside world. Laboriously hauling supplies upstream, Errol has brought in something one hardly expects 80 miles from the nearest road. The Wilsons, in local slang, have gone mechanical.
Just because you live in the bush, you don't have to be a barbarian. You like the comfortable things. Even though you like the isolation and the quiet, you still like to be comfortable. And I think that's why we just like all the little gadgets and are always fixing things and inventing things just to make life a little bit easier.
A metal drum that floated into their lives one day has become a priceless reservoir, collecting rainwater runoff from the roof, which in turn is gravity-fed indoors. But this is just the beginning in this cabin of surprises.
Next year, we hope to bring a piano in, which is going to be a real feat in itself, getting a piano up the creek and lining it in a canoe. And then Errol wants to build a new addition onto the cabin here so he can have a pool room. And he's going to teach me how to play pool. So when we have company, they can go in and play pool, and I'll play the piano and keep them occupied.
Close by, at least as the crow flies, live one of the few remaining bush families the Wilsons know. But 40 miles of wilderness travel would be so arduous and time-consuming that Randy and Karen Brown might as well be a continent away.
Tell me if it's straight. Is it straight?
As a child, Karen Callan Brown longed for a cabin in the woods, as far from New Jersey's urban sprawl as she could get. In 1981, she and Randy Brown built that cabin log by log on their honeymoon. Their son Gabriel is 3. Jed is 7. Neither has ever lived in a city. Before winter closes in, Randy must stockpile meat. In this part of Alaska, the principal large game is moose. Randy imitates rutting males to attract their attention.
I've often said, give me a canoe and open water and I'm happy. And it's true. One of the reasons I'm out here, which is that not everything is owned. You don't have to buy everything. It doesn't all belong to somebody else. You have wide open spaces. You have food for your fires. You have the meat, the complete food. You don't have to go out and buy anything.
The scent of a fresh kill might attract bears, so Randy reloads immediately.
The first time I shot a moose was I've been 18 years old, and I felt it was the first real thing that I did, putting in several months of food for myself and quite a bit of food for the dogs as well. There's not a whole lot of plants to eat. There's berries and there's a few plants in season. The native people that used to live up here, they lived primarily on meat and fat, and the two go together.
Bush life is not only rigorous, but exact. Randy timed the hunt for when moose are fattest, and dropping temperatures will keep the meat from spoiling. Although the Browns together consume about 5 gallons of animal fat a year, they don't worry about cholesterol. Randy, who tests reasonably low, feels the extreme temperatures and heavy work burn the fat off.
A wide variety of reasons why people come out here, and some people are coming out because they've had bad experiences elsewhere and they're coming out to escape those things that they see in society that they can't change and don't want to deal with. I don't come out here to escape myself. I come out because it's exciting. There's no doubt about it that gets my blood running, you know, going through a nice rapid or climbing a mountain and seeing a nice view or getting a nice piece of meat. And I'm out here by choice. I'm out here because I want to be. And when I leave, it'll be because I want to do something different. It won't be because I have to run from it.
Crucial fact of life in Alaska. It gives new meaning to the word extreme. Nature has equipped the wildlife to deal with winter's savagery. Human beings are not so fortunate. The record temperature is 83 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. 60 below is not uncommon. Challenged at every turn, Edna Korth, like all wives and mothers here, devotes exhausting hours to food, clothing, and looking after the children. No one has what is known elsewhere as leisure time. It has been said, the true Alaskan is someone who has experienced several seasons of cold, snow, and darkness, kept a hold on their nerves, and survived. Jaime Korth has been here for 16 winters.
Frostbite to us is like sunburn to some people down there. I mean, unless it's extreme frostbite where, you know, your foot is completely frozen and stuff like that, you know. But frostbite on the cheeks and on the nose, it's, I mean, get like every other week I got that. It's nothing. And I've frozen my heel and my left foot, and it's a common thing.
Jaime has set snares by hacking through the 3-foot-thick ice that blankets the river.
Trapping beaver is work, and nothing but work. One of the first things you got to do is go there in fall time, find out where they're building their houses, putting their feed piles, find out where their runways are, the deepest holes, so you can put out your beaver sets there. Some years when I have a lot of beaver, then I mark them out on a map so I know where to go. And then come wintertime, like this late winter is when the furs are prime and everything like that.
Beaver is a favorite food and an excellent fur. But once exposed to the air, it must be dried quickly, or the fur will freeze. The best drying element, surprisingly, is the snow. To the touch, it feels somewhat like granulated sugar. Nature has given much to the Korths. It has also taken much away. 7 years ago, a fierce river current capsized their canoe and claimed a daughter's life.
We did have another daughter. We named after the river, Colleen. And she drowned when she was 2 years old. We have a lot of good memories of her out here, especially in this cabin, because we were in a process of building it when she drowned. And sometimes it's kind of difficult when you walk around in the woods where what she does and where exactly where she did something, and when you're there, you just try to have good memories of her, but sometimes kind of, excuse me, kind of hard.
Despite their loss, the Korths have never thought of leaving. For them, the demands of the bush are more than offset by the joys of being together and in the wilderness.
You gonna put her to bed now?
Yeah, I have to put her to bed.
It's getting kind of late for her.
I know, and her sister is sleeping already.
Although medical help is often out of reach, the children have never been seriously ill. But several years ago, Edna suffered a near-fatal gallbladder attack. Bush residents have been known to pull their own teeth, set broken bones, and even amputate their own frostbitten fingers and toes.
Record cold possible tonight. Tonight, thick ice fog. Lows 55 below to 65 below. Coldest in outlying areas. Tuesday and Wednesday, thick ice fog persisting. Highs from 35 below to 45 below. Lows 50 below to 65 below. The coldest temperature of the game in the outlying areas.
McDonald's presents $1 Million Smiles for a special low price. McDonald's Hamburger Happy Meal at a special low price. It's nice to know that America's favorite meal for kids is still the happiest.
McDonald's presents the Young Astronauts Happy Meal with 4 space toys to build. One with each Happy Meal you buy your kids. They can build a lunar rover or whatever.
Hey, what's that? It's a space buggy. Cool.
Young Astronauts Happy Meal. Only at McDonald's.
It's me, your mother. Call me back and we can have a nice long chat. Oh, I know it's long distance, but I also know you rent all your movies at that lovely Blockbuster video place. And I heard they're giving everyone up to 3 hours of free long distance from Sprint just for renting 2 videos, even if you're not a Sprint customer. Now, you don't have to use all 3 hours talking to me. I know you have your friends. But you won't be calling anybody for free if you don't get into Blockbuster. Do it now for your mother.
Jensen's Home Furnishings, your home of quality name brand furniture at low warehouse prices, proudly announces the addition of Lane Action Furniture. To celebrate, Jensen's is having a store-wide sale at its Old Dairy Road location. But Jensen's has more furniture than space, so this weekend only, Jensen's is expanding to the Nugget Mall. There will be prizes and surprises, so stop by for the fun. See the most comfortable seat in the house. Lane Action Furniture at Jensen's Home Furnishings, 8505 Old Dairy Road, and this weekend only in the Nugget Mall.
After months of isolation, the Korths look forward to pilot Roger Dowding's arrival today. He will have to land on the frozen river, but the storm has exposed many obstacles. Cracks, holes, and tree stumps could cost a pilot his life. The Korths can't be sure that Dowding will come at all. The plane may have never gotten off the ground.
Landing on skis for the first time in the snow, I usually try to check the area out. While you're looking for any kind of obstacles, you're also trying to check snow depth and pack the snow, because once you land, you pretty much have to pack the snow in order to take off. So I drag the skis through the snow many times, making tracks, packing the snow, because it's pretty expensive to damage the aircraft out here. And when I feel it's safe, then I'll go ahead and land.
He's trying to make his own runway.
Yeah. Jim, I wonder if he's going to land. Look at her plane. Look at her.
Look at he's landing.
He touched on that.
He touched on the
Although bush families choose to be isolated, friends are eagerly welcomed. Children may have seen other people only a few times in their entire lives. People don't just drop by in the bush.
Hello, Imo. Hey, Roger. Roger? How's Roger and Roger doing?
Roger and Roger's doing
Pretty
fine.
good today. You like a runway? Yep. Pretty good, huh?
When are you going to get a straight runway, Imo?
A straight runway? As soon as the river straightens out.
You could bring down a tractor so you could straighten it out.
Landing and taking off around the corner.
Roger Dowding comes only once or twice each winter with the mail. Today, he has also brought a special passenger, Roger Waggle, a correspondence teacher who will begin Rhonda's schooling.
Yeah, I think so.
Where's our mail? I want to get mail done.
Your mail? Patience, Edna, patience.
Rhonda, you ready for your schoolwork? Okay, come on over and get it. Come on. It's a big, heavy box. But it has your name on it right there.
Rhonda's first day of school is more special because Roger and several townspeople have remembered her 5th birthday.
Boy.
You had a birthday just real soon, didn't you? Not too long ago.
Everybody in town sent you a cake, ice cream.
We got some ice cream in here. Here we go. Pull it off. Look at there.
Yeah, Rhonda, can I trade you this for the cake?
No.
No? You sure? That's mine. That's yours? Please, can I have that? I want a doll. Come on, Rhonda.
Each flight to the courts cost $1,000 round trip. They could never afford the teacher's visits every 4 to 6 weeks. The school district covers the expense. Once Roger Waggle has familiarized Edna with the study program, she will become Rhonda's day-to-day teacher.
This is our letter book, and it comes from the post office.
This type of schooling requires special dedication, but, says Roger, it works.
Many of them, if they do their work, it takes 2-3 hours a day on their part, but if they do their work, they always test up to national norms or even a little bit above. The ones who go to college do very well because they have good study habits. They can adapt to independent learning real easy. Right there, he's our banana thief, and what's he driving?
A banana.
He's driving a banana. Isn't that kind of crazy, driving a banana to work?
Yeah.
Look at this street. Everybody's running somewhere. Where do you think they're going? There isn't any privacy at all when I travel, which is hard to get used to, but you do get used to it. You eat with everybody else, and you sleep with them, and you talk with them, and you go to the bathroom with everybody else. It's just like living in a very, very tight, small community where you have to get along, because if you don't, you're going to have fights, and you're going to get bushy. And somebody's going to wind up out the door pretty darn cold for a couple days.
All right, a bill.
Good.
A bill. Hey, now that looks nice. I like that, a bill.
How many days were you with
The one room, living room, kitchen, and bedrooms all in one must now accommodate 2 more bodies. 6 people will sleep in a space that would hold little more than a king-sized mattress.
All the blood goes to my head, and I think all night.
Well, that's all right. You got a big head anyways. It'll fill up.
He's trying to crowd me out over here, too.
Hey, what are you doing? You
Hey.
sleep that way.
No, there's
No,
not enough room
Waggle's right there. No.
the floor is
You
too
can put
uneven.
you could put your face.
Move
You
your-
can put
you're
your
gonna have to
feet in
move your
Waggle's
bucket.
face. That's
My
all.
head-
It's just Waggle there, isn't it?
My
No.
head is going to be next to the stove where it's warm.
Right,
Okay?
right now, you're
Too
gonna-
uneven over there, Roger.
No, it's not.
Right
It's
there.
just right.
So,
no,
you're going to have to move the bucket.
No, I'm going to have to.
Not enough room here,
Well,
kid.
you
The
put your
floor is
foot. You
uneven.
put your here, you guys.
You guys are going to wake
You
up
put
soon
your
now.
feet in Waggle's head.
My head's going to be up here by the stove where it's warm. The floor is too uneven over there, so you're going to have to move your bucket. That's all.
I'm going to shut the light off, so you better hurry.
No, wait, I got to
No,
get my
no,
back
here
out.
it goes. Here it goes.
No,
It's going down.
I'm not ready.
It's going down.
I'm not ready.
Quiet. Down.
Wait, let me get my nightlight.
Down. There.
to watch his lights. You see the light? He's blinking. Here he comes. Mom, we're not gonna run. He's not gonna see what he's gonna take off.
I hope to die out here when I'm old. I don't want to be put in the ground in some cemetery with a million other gravestones. No, that's how I feel I've been taking a lot from this land, and I should, when I'm old and gray and die out here, I should put back what I took.
Strong sense of territory distances families here. Many consider entire rivers and mountain ranges to be their own. More than 50 miles away are the Korth's nearest neighbors, the Haydens, a family of 7. The Haydens are old-timers in this part of the Alaskan bush. They've been here for 2 decades. At 15, Susan Hayden already contributes to the family income by trapping. They clear between $5,000 and $8,000 a year.
The best marten are in like November and December.
Yeah.
After that.
No modern-day bush family lives entirely off the land. They need cash for supplemental food and some supplies. But they don't need much.
That's right. After you've been running around in the woods all year with your brand new fur coat, it's going to get a little tough looking.
As a young hotel busboy in Minnesota, her father, Richard, read an article on how to live in the woods. He took off for Alaska, determined to find the last place anyone would ever go, just so his space would never be violated. After 9 years on his own, he met and married Shannon, a Tlingit Indian. They have 5 children, aged 2 to 18. A wild timber wolf they've named Lady is the mother of several of the family's dogs. Rejected by her own pack, Lady often hovers near Susan and her sled team. Susan, like 4 of the 5 children, was born at home without medical help. Her father delivered her. Self-reliant beyond her years, she's allowed to go off alone to tend her distant trap line. Susan considers her dogs her best friends. On the trail with my team, she says, I'm never scared or lonely.
I run mainly 100 miles a line and check maybe 50 to 100 traps, and I don't trap with a snow machine because snow machines tend to break down too much and require too many parts. Dogs are more fun, they're easier to manage.
Lady often follows, Susan's ghostly companion. Like the sled dogs born to the Arctic snow, Susan herself is a child of the wilderness.
We mainly trap for marten, wolverine. We don't trap wolves, though, of course, and sometimes we'll catch a fox or two and sometimes weasels.
To complete her 100-mile trek, Susan will be away from home at least overnight. A storm could pin her down for a week. When she's away, her parents worry a bit, but feel she's safer in the woods than in any town. She's been trained in survival skills since she was old enough to walk.
I enjoy living out here. I've been to town a few times, and I don't like town life, and I don't like the city and stuff. And I like the peace and quiet out here, so there's much more to do, I find, out here, and it's a joy living in the clean air.
In winter, less than 2 hours of light may be all there is. For the rest, hours of frigid darkness. The world seems stilled, but for the piercing echoes of the Arctic night. Sometimes on cold, clear nights, there is a spectacle unmatched in the world. Storms on the sun hurl electrically charged particles into the Earth's atmosphere to create the aurora borealis, the northern lights. For the Browns, as with all bush families, the rigorous winter routine demands all available hands. Jed splits wood, hauls water, and helps tend the sled dogs. But for Gabriel, winter is still a wonderland. Monotony is one of the biggest pitfalls of life here. By now, the moose Randy shot in the fall has become a real challenge to Karen.
One of our favorites is moose quiche. Another one we have is moose enchiladas. Randy's from the Southwest, so he likes Mexican-style dishes, although I doubt they use moose down there. We've had sourdough moose crepes for breakfast. We've had pizzas with whatever meat is around, so that's usually moose. Moose steaks and moose and rice and moose burgers. We'll make moose meatloaf. We make corn mousse, and we make corn mousse tongue sandwiches and corn mousse brisket sandwiches. And we do whatever we can with spices and with other dishes, trying to make variety, because if you just have moose meat and rice, it gets old after a while, even though it's a great cut of meat.
Their isolation has begun to worry the Browns. They agonize about whether it is fair to the children. The cabin is cramped, the boys have no other playmates, and their world is small and limiting. But if a decision is made to leave, it will not be made lightly.
You have a kid like Jed who's pretty gregarious and pretty challenged, and it's hard for a kid like that to only deal with adults. You know, he deals real well with adults, but it's important for him to have his own peer group. So we're looking at moving on to a larger community, someplace where he can get challenged being a kid, not challenged just being a miniature adult.
It was so heavy that we had to carry one piece at a time. Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
So remote are bush families that simply going to town is like mounting an expedition. Errol Wilson makes the 160-mile trip only once or twice a year. With his love of things mechanical, Errol prefers snow machine to dog sled. But he takes along old-fashioned snowshoes just in case.
See you in a few days.
Oh, you be careful.
Love you.
I love you too. Bye-bye.
When Errol is gone, you just worry all the time. It's always in the back of your mind that something might happen and he might not ever come home. Even with all the nice conveniences I have, it's still not. There's just such a void here when he's gone. There are a lot of winter dangers out here. There was a man not too many years ago that lived up on the Kandik River, which is about 10 miles from here. And he fell through the ice and froze his feet. And he just couldn't get out after that. He couldn't hunt for any food. So he ended up eating his sled dogs, and then eventually when he ran out of food he just died of starvation, and they didn't find him until the next spring after breakup and people could get out again. But there are definite dangers out here.
Errol hits a patch of hidden water, a common but treacherous hazard, sometimes called Alaskan quicksand.
There's always open water spots in the Yukon. You can pretty much read the ice and tell when you're in a bad spot and avoid it. Not always. Sometimes it'll appear to be a solid ice and there'll be snow over it and everything, and you can go right through it. A lot of times you just have to leave the machine and walk home, or let your dogs run loose and leave your sled stuck in it, because it'll start freezing your whatever you've got right into the ice.
Surprisingly, clear days in Alaska are often the coldest. The air temperature today could be 50 below. In one of Alaska's more bizarre twists, Errol could freeze to death in full sunshine.
Another real hazard is just the severe cold. Sometimes you can't take your fingers out of your mittens for more than 15, 20 seconds before if you had to start a fire and your fingers were frozen already, you'd have a real hard time doing it. Of course, naturally you get your feet wet, and once you get your feet wet, you're faced with having to get out of it real soon and get back to a warm cabin if you think you can make it, or stopping and building a fire, drying out all of your footwear that you have on, and then putting it back on. Otherwise, you'll freeze your feet and you won't go anywhere.
This kind of accident is common in Alaska. Any bush traveler knows that far more than food, the most important emergency supply is a spare set of clothes. Harold is prepared, but closer to home than to town, he decides to abort the trip. Alaska, as a local saying goes, is always changing your plans. After 15 years, the enormous challenges of bush life have not dampened the Wilson spirit, but they are the exception, not the rule.
Passable, real passable. The way of life out here, it's a vanishing thing. There's not many people around that are carrying on the old lifestyles that used to be here. I think probably the animals are thriving better than we are. This photo here represents a wedding here on the river, Randy and Karen's wedding, and all the people in it were people that used to live out here on the river. We all got together and threw a big wedding party up on a gravel bar up near Nation River. And most of these people now are all gone from the bush. We used to have our own social life back then, and people would get together and share watching children and watch each other's dogs, and now most of these people are gone. Matter of fact, just about all of them. I'm one of the last few people that's left out in this stretch of the river. It's almost like we're the endangered species now.
It has been nearly 10 years since Karen and Randy Brown hung pressed wedding flowers in their cabin door. They have cherished their time here, but they have also had children, and they want Gabriel and Jed to know modern life, even if they eventually decide to reject it. The family is moving to Fairbanks.
Oh, it's real sad when you think about leaving, when you think about the quality family time that we have here. But when we look at options and alternatives, there's no option that would give our kids the things we want if we go just to a small town on the edge of this wilderness and commute out to here from that. So if we're going to get our kids exposed to quality education, to really having a good peer group, to really seeing cultural diversity and being challenged, we have to go farther.
The Browns have made their choice. The others, the Korths, Wilsons, and Haydens, plan to stay in the bush, presumably for a lifetime. All in their own way have lived their dream, as few of us have, or ever will.
That's it.
I guess so.
Okay, let's go.
Writer-naturalist Henry David Thoreau wrote, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived.
To better understand our world,
we've just been watching
ourselves, and our future, this program is made possible by the people of Chevron. Chevron, giving thought to television.
Additional funding for this program is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by the financial support of viewers like you.
Braving Alaska, a program about another part of our state, for those of us who live in Southeast at least, but the way of life of some people who choose to live the wilderness style. We're going to be looking at a style of life in Southeast, a couple in Klawock who are gathering subsistence foods, and we're going to see them going out for herring roe on kelp. That'll be coming up in just a moment.
This is PBS.
In exposing that feud, our tradition, I must bring forth and he approve. With the ways of life, it was blood for blood, kill or be killed, and care and love. For yet to speak at a line with tongues and discipline brought a shame and a death, the ways of a tradition. Compassion imposed with ways of an emotion. Focus the clans to care for one another. First themselves, the prophet goes to potlatch, going broke to build your dignity. Trading and gathering, looking for that salmon and berry bush, with the woman as a cook.